Good day, good day, good day. We're back with another episode of Respect My Royalty. And we just want to thank you guys for tuning in to this new episode. And, you know, I'm here with the team. I'm here with the fam today. I mean, we got David the Dude in the building today. David, say what's up. We got Santi over here. Y'all already know what's up. Today, we kind of want to, because I know, Dave, you in the field. And you know what we call the field. Like, you deal with independent artists every day. I mean, you've been doing this for the last 6-7 years. You've been an executive A&R. And it's like, we kind of want to find out from you, like, just in your experience, your hands-on with the artist. And we want to understand, like, the mindset of an independent artist, the things that they think they need versus the things that they actually really need in actuality, the things that they think can help them versus the things that can really help them. And we know that you can help us with that. I don't want to start there though, because where I really want to start is, I kind of like, interestingly enough, somebody that we mutually knew, they asked me questions. They were just like, how did you meet David? How do you know David? You know what I'm saying? And when I really told them the story, they was like, they thought it was very profound. And I think it's like a great story. And I think people need to know where you come from, understand your background, you know, how you got here, you know, just even working with us being able to grow the brand and you being an influential piece in that. I kind of want to start from the beginning. And when I first met you, if I remember, this is maybe about 7-8 years ago, because you were basically a kid when I met you, and I think
I was a kid.
And
Full head of
hair,
hair.
right?
I had a lot of hair.
Yes.
Not just here.
If I remember, my memory serves me correctly, I met you at the mall. I think I was in the mall. I think I was walking out of Foot Action or Foot Locker or one of those stores. I know.
You had a bunch of bags.
Right.
A bunch of diamonds. You had a bust down Rolex.
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah.
Right.
I gotta sell this guy something.
And I want to say that you were working for a insurance company?
Life insurance, yeah.
Life insurance. You were selling life insurance. So you kind of walked up to me and you were just like, hey, what do you do for a living? You seem like, you know, you're pretty successful. Something like you said, are you a rapper? Are you a musician? Something you asked me.
It was something, I don't know.
Right.
It was off the dome.
Right. And so you know, you asked me and I told you, no, I'm not. And it's just like, you know, and I asked you, you know, what are you selling? I think you said something, you're selling life insurance or some form of insurance. And, but you told me, when I told you I was in the music business, you told me that you were a rapper. He says, hey, yo, I'm a rapper. I like music, whatever. And I'm like, you're not a rapper. And he's like, yeah, I'll spit some bars for you right now. Like, I love music, and that's really like what you do. That's just like, so you know, what are you doing here in the mall? And you just like, you were selling insurance. So I was like, so you love music, but you do sales. And you were just like, yeah. I was like, listen, meet me at my office on Monday, and I'll change your life.
At a specific time. Though.
Right, I told you at 2 o'clock.
Yeah,
at 2 o'clock. I totally forgot that I even told you that. And at 2 o'clock, you were here and you were on time. The thing that I remember about you that stood out about you is that you were fearless. The fact that you approached me the way that you do, and I know I don't have the most welcoming face, and the fact that you came and you approached me and you were just like, yo, you know, and you were just like, you know, really like bold, and you were brave with it. And at that point in our company, we didn't have anyone doing sales. We didn't have any A&Rs. We kind of just were doing what we did on our own. It was just me, you, and we had Adisa at that point, Rodney. And so we didn't really have like anybody doing, you know, A&R work or, you know, sales in itself. And when I brought you in, I felt like, yo, this is somebody that I feel can kind of sell what we're doing. Because everything we did at that point was word of mouth. And when we brought you in, I know that your concern was that, you know, you wanted to know if you would be making enough money, and you wanted to know if you would be effective. And I knew that you had the tools and you had the skills to be able to be effective. And I think for the first year here, you didn't really, I gave you a base salary. We started off, basically base salary, and you were still working like your other job a little bit. You would work part time here, and I know for that first year you felt like you were stealing money a little bit because you felt like you weren't doing anything, and you felt like, why you keep paying me, whatever. And I said, keep going at it, keep working, keep going at it. It'll come, it'll start to work. And as you really became focused, you bought into the system, and you understand, you learned the business. You understood what it is that we were doing here. And once you believed in it, it just changed. And I want to tell you here, just like on this, like I'm extremely proud of you because you didn't give up when you wanted to give up. You talked about you weren't making enough money and you didn't feel like you were earning it because a lot of what you do is commission based or is commission based, and you felt like you weren't making what you was supposed to. I tell you to stay with it. I said, Dave, if you stay with it, it's going to turn over for you. And you went from making an average of minimum wage to the upper 1% for your age in about 2 years time. And just for everybody here that doesn't really understand that, I know we have people internationally that are tuned in. It's the difference in maybe about $150,000. And, he started out making just regular minimum wage. And then in his age group, I met Dave when he was like 17 years old. And in 2 years' time, he was making six figures at this company. He applied himself. He stayed consistent. And so people think that he's just an average white boy, and he's like, oh yeah, he has it made, and he's just not, he's doing this. But I want you to know that Dave really got it out the mud. And the other thing, getting to know you, what I started to understand, and it made me just admire your grind a little bit more, is that your background, knowing where you come from. And I know most people will have the misconception saying that, Dave is a white boy, he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, whatever. But the background that he comes from is more obscure than most minorities. You come from a background that I know that you're not 100% proud of, but we're talking about the way you've ascended and the way that you've beat all the odds. You know what I'm saying? And so coming from a background, just not from a two-parent home, growing up in the inner city. And Dave, you're from Pompano.
Yeah.
And if anybody knows, tell them exactly where you're from in Pompano.
Right by the ugly corner. You know where that's at, If you don't, I'm proud of you. Like, you should have known where that's at.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And I know that if we took away the race element and we kind of described your background without the race element, you kind of come from the same background of most inner city minorities, where, your parents were definitely involved in things that, I know that you're not proud of, and you will be at liberty to speak with that more than I am, you know what I'm saying? And you grew up in the streets, you know what I'm saying? And you guys were like some of the only white people in the neighborhood that you grew up in. And that's another thing that I noticed about you, just getting to know you. Like, you literally have no white friends. Like, everybody that you're associated with are all, black or, Hispanic.
Even
or
my
whatever.
wife.
Right. Your wife is and I know people get this image of you online and they see you and they don't understand that you come from exactly where they come from. But you've beat the odds to become successful. So what you've sold to people and what you've been able to tell people is from experience. It's not that you're just trying to make money and you're just trying to do this. You ended up overcoming it yourself.
Yeah.
And that is something, when I met this guy, you were a very wild boy.
That's an understatement.
Yes, a very, very extremely wild boy.
Yeah.
And to watch you grow from a boy to a man and start to understand purpose, understand destiny, and take your career seriously. And not only that, you invested, as you started making money, you invested in your career. You invested over $200,000 into your platform into your career to make the money and amass the success that you have with this company. And that's what most people don't understand. They just think that, oh, he's just getting this money, he's just doing this, and whatever the case may be. But I know that the work that was associated with you. And so I just wanted to start off this episode just introducing and having people understand that the steps that you have preached to people, that you have sold to people, are things that you have lived by. And it has benefited you. The staying consistent, to investing in yourself, believing in yourself, not thinking that anybody's supposed to do it for you. You're a very talented salesman, but at the end of the day, you invested. This company has been an umbrella to you, but you've taken the initiative to continue to grow and continue to, position yourself in a field where when we first started, there wasn't a big market for this. And as we grew, there's a lot of people doing what we do. And you were the first person that, showed us like, hey, listen, there's a lot of other people doing what we're doing. We need to change some stuff. We need to do this. And you went out there and you took the initiative, because that's not my personality. It's definitely not Santi personality. We're not going online and doing a lot of the stuff that you do, but you were just like, yo, I'm going to be the face. I'm going to go out there. And you definitely did it. You know what I'm saying? That when people see our logo, it's almost synonymously they recognize David the Dude. You know what I'm saying? And so there's been instances where people would not recognize myself or Santi from the brand, but they do recognize you. And they're like, oh, I want to talk to David the Dude. So you become like a rock star, like a little celebrity online, with it. And I know me and Santi and ourselves, we've, been proud of that, to watch you grow.
Yep.
And people don't understand your struggles, even going into the forefront, your struggles with anxiety in the beginning, and not really wanting to be a focal point, and not really wanting the attention, and wanting to be in front of people, watching you break out of that, breaking that mold, and then starting to embrace it and see the success that comes from it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just kind of tell, I know you have a ton of people that you deal with, that you speak with online every day, and I mean, you've never told your story. And letting the cat out the bag at this point, what do you want to say in the message you've conveyed based on your journey? Them understanding like where you come from there.
Never judge a book by its cover. That's
100%.
That's number one, and people call me a culture vulture. Right, online. But it's like, I practice everything I preach.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, and just in retrospect, looking at it, it's like, I never asked you for a handout.
No.
I never asked you to do things for me. You actually offered it to me.
Yes.
So I was lucky that I got a handout. Like, you gave me a handout, you know what I mean? But I didn't ask for it.
100%.
So the biggest thing with artists is that I see is they're constantly begging or asking for a handout. I remember the key way I was able to infiltrate the company, right, was I told you that I rap, but I said I manage a rapper.
Right, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, you did.
So I'm like, I noticed that I didn't know who you were, but I knew you were somebody important in the music industry. I don't know, you just carried yourself that way. I just knew, like, okay, this guy is it. So instead of trying to sell you as a liability, I sold you as an asset.
100%.
I was wearing a suit that I couldn't afford. You know what I mean? I was a dusty little kid, but I presented myself as a businessman.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, I told you about the business. I tried to recruit you to my business, and I did it on purpose. I'm like, damn, I want to work for this guy. But I tried to recruit you for my business, and I didn't back down. And I'm like, nah, man, you're going to end up working for me one day. I remember I told you that. I told you you're going to work for me, but I ended up working for you. But you saw the boldness, and I saw, okay, if this guy is somebody who's in the music industry, like, I don't want to just, hey, man, you want to hear my bars? Like, that just screams liability.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I was like, yeah, I kind of played it like, I didn't need the job, man. Really, I was broke. But I made it seem like, oh, man, I'll check you out. Yeah. I was there on time. I was there early, right?
I forgot.
And I took the bus, bro. I took like 5 buses to get here. Mm-hmm. I took like multiple buses, bro. Like, I didn't have $1 to my name. And I found money in the couches to get on the bus. Yeah. To show up here. Just like I did in my other job. So one thing I would say to the artist is like never judge a book by its cover. And stop asking for a handout, because luck is being prepared for an opportunity. 100%. I feel like God prepared me for the opportunity as you presented it, and I was prepared for it. So luck is being prepared for an opportunity. People don't get lucky. You don't get a handout because you ask for it. The handout is given to you because you earned it.
100%.
You know, and God will give it to you.
So what was some of your first impressions?
I thought you were nuts. Both of you. I thought you were nuts. For having to keep coming around. I was like, what is happening right now? No, but
y'all found me before I found Christ.
Yep. No, but we've definitely.
Thank God for Jesus.
Thank you.
Yes.
But no, it's been a pleasure and a privilege to witness the progression and the growth, and we really are extremely proud of you and all the work that you've done. And
thank you.
Like you said, you really do practice what you preach, and a lot of people will never give you the credit for that online, because in perception's reality, they see some white guy in Gucci jacket, chains, and doing all these crazy things online. Oh, he just has it because it was given to him. But no, you really busted your butt for it. What I would say is, once you came in and after that first year of you kind of figuring out a system and where you fit in and how to make it work, and Monty gave you that vote of confidence and that faith. Once we saw like the ball kind of snowballing a little bit, it made us take a step back and look at everything that we're doing, and what we had at the time was not scalable.
Yes.
We've had conversations. We didn't really understand how to do what we're doing. Everything was so customized, and we're like managing people, hands on, case by case. That you can't scale a business that way.
Right.
You needed something to sell, so we took a step back, and that we really started developing the system that our foundation is built on today, which is, you know, those packages. What makes sense for certain artists? How do we prepare something that we can just hand it off to you and you can sell it with confidence, that we know it'll produce results? It took years and hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment and losses just to figure out what actually works. But once we had the product, we knew what we had to pass on to David to sell. I don't think we realized it at the time, but his Instagram, his platform, became a lead generator. We were never actually looking for leads or how to grab leads, and it was kind of a foreign concept, but we were doing it. We didn't actually have a label on it. And once we started doing that, and David started taking this really seriously, I think he locked himself in to everything that we're doing when he just showed up one day with a huge R&R tattoo on the side of his face.
Oh yeah, I remember. He picked me up from my house because I didn't have a car when I first started. I didn't have anything.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't have anything when I started working. All I had was a dream. You know what I mean? And I actually was intoxicated when I got the tattoo, you know. But I was, you know, when you're intoxicated, it's like a truth serum. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, put that right there, and I did it. And I remember your reaction. You were on the phone. You were doing like an interview, like you were on the radio. You were doing like a radio interview.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, Monty, look. And you were like, boy, what the? It's like, you was like, oh. I was nervous. I'm like, damn, what does he think? Do you think I'm crazy? He's like a girl who gets a tattoo of her boyfriend.
Yeah.
I did think you were crazy, by the way.
Yeah.
But not for that reason.
Yeah.
A lot of legitimate reasons.
See, we can't get rid of him now.
But I think one of the things I think stood out to me the most with the way in your approach was your passion for the independent artists. The way that you would come to us and say, hey, listen, this is what you would think would benefit independent artists right now. This is what you think can help artists to get more exposure, to help them to get known. You were dealing with them every day. We were back then, we were mainly just dealing with industry stuff and music business stuff. Of course, we had artists that had record deals, and I had just come out of a position where I was an executive A&R at a record label for a major artist. So our minds were more focused to an artist that has a budget that's signed, and that's where we were. And your mindset was like, yo, there are a lot of artists, unsigned talent here that really are hungry, and you know, they want to get noticed, they want to get recognized, and they want to kind of grow a fan base. And your passion and your voice, we changed up a lot of the stuff that we did here and the things that we offered based on a lot of the things that you felt were like, hey, this is what people want. This is what this is what helps to bring them to market now, because the music industry changes. I think people don't realize that, especially now with the internet and now with the metaverse and AI and all this stuff. This stuff changes so much. It changes every 6 months. There's some nuance that changes the trajectory of what was working 6 months ago. You kind of need that and then some and some more. And so in year 3 or 4, when we were transitioning into more artist services and project management with artists and stuff like that, you were very instrumental in helping us understand the mindset of an independent artist and the things that can help them. And I know with you working with the independent artists like every day, there are things that you were able to realize because you were a part of our system, that you were watching us in meetings with record label executives and, you know, artists that had budgets and stuff like that. So you saw that side of it. And then you saw the side of the artist that was just trying, didn't really have a budget like that, but they were hungry and they wanted this, that, and the next thing. And us kind of like bridging the gap and figuring out how could we meet their needs. Mm-hmm. And I know in that there's a lot of pros, there's a lot of cons. So I want you to kind of like give us your understanding of the misconceptions from your experiences with independent artists and what they think they need versus what can really be helpful to them.
Mm-hmm. So one of the biggest misconceptions I think an artist has is they need a manager.
An independent artist.
Yeah, an independent artist. An independent artist that doesn't have a fan base, you know, they have a couple hundred followers, they think they need a manager, right? So Monty, you and Santi, you guys have managed successful artists. When do you think an artist like needs a manager? When is a point where they need a manager, as opposed to them thinking that the manager is like Jesus Christ, their savior, that's gonna just change everything for them? Like, can you explain the difference of like what a manager's role really is, and what an artist thinks the manager is? Like, can you kind of shed light on that?
Well, one thing I think that the biggest misconception is when people say they need a manager, especially in our DMs and people hit us up, they want an investor. That's what it is. They say, sign me. They don't know what sign me means. Majority of people.
Well, what does sign me mean?
Sign me, they want to get signed for management.
Fit the bill for my career.
Essentially, yeah. They say, hey, give me some money. I'm just like...
I need people to pay for my dreams.
Yes, exactly. Your dreams, I'm not going to call it delusion, but with misinformation, it is the delusion. And with that attitude, your dreams will only ever be a dream. It will never be a reality, unfortunately.
And I can attest to that because how many times did I come in your office and complain like, yo, man, like, I'm just going to go do another thing. Like, how many times did I tell you I was going to quit doing this?
Yeah.
I told you a lot. I was going to quit and go do something else, right? But I stuck with it and I invested all the money I had into myself.
Yeah.
And through consistently doing that, like you mentioned before, I've invested over $200,000 into the platform that we have, and now I'm starting to see the explosion. It's like compound interest. You know, the money you invest and the time and everything that you invest, predominantly money, with focus, has compound interest. Mm-hmm. You know, I didn't see an instant return on my investment when I started investing into ads and placements and all that stuff. But the more my credibility grew, the more people started to recognize me, the more authority that I had in this space. Then it's like rolling the snowball up the hill and then watching it roll down the hill. Mm-hmm. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And now the things that I had to do before, I don't have to do anymore. Right? Like, I remember sending 300 DMs every day until the point where Instagram's told me, like, you can't send any more DMs. Every day. Like, I would stay here and work for like 16 hours. You guys remember that, right?
Yeah.
Before I got married, like, I lived here.
Yeah.
I've slept in this office. Several times I've slept here, right? Yeah. And several times he's driven me home. Yes. Both of you guys have driven me home. But I put in that work where I didn't have the money. When I started getting the money, I invested my last dollar every single time. I've seen my bank account hit zero thousands of times. But I didn't let that scare me. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, okay, I know what I'm investing into. I believed. I had faith. It's like when Jesus told Peter to walk on the water, right? Jesus wasn't the only one who walked on water. Peter walked on water for a couple steps,
Right, yeah.
until he lost faith.
Right.
The thing with me is I never lost faith. And whenever I did start to waver in my faith, I always came to you and you always reassure me like, Dave, stay consistent, stick with it. And I seen it change my life and everybody's life around me through staying consistent. You know, one of my mentors, his name is Ty Daniels, my old mentors. He was the guy who actually taught me life insurance. He told me a profound thing. He said, Dave, you gotta love the grind like a woman. You gotta fall in love with the grind. You gotta love the grind more than the results.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because a woman ain't always gonna be, oh, I love you, and like she gonna make you want to kill her sometimes, you know, all the time. You know what I mean? But you gotta love the grind like a woman. You know, the grind doesn't always give you the results that you want. It doesn't always bear fruit right away. Think about planting a seed.
Yes.
When you plant a seed in the dirt, bro, it takes years.
You can't stand over it and watch the fruit
You're not
come
gonna
out
eat
of
the
the
fruit the
ground.
same
And you can't sit there and yell at a woman, love me, love me, love me. No, you got to put the grind in and make the woman love you. And you got to do it. You know, you got to grind even when you're not getting the results. You got to love the grind more than the results. And I fell in love with the grind more than the results. I wasn't making any money, and I was here every day, 16 hours a day. Sometimes I didn't even go to sleep. I've put in 48-hour days. You guys have seen me do it.
Yeah. No,
Where I
100%.
literally do not sleep. And it kind of angers me when artists be like, yeah, man, I just worked. I'm so tired. I'm like, how long you work? Oh, I had a 6-hour shift. I'm like, I didn't go to sleep last night, and I'm talking to you.
Right.
Like, bro, so people think that, like, I'm in this position because it was just, like, given to me, or I was, like, handed it, but it's like, bro, you're not working harder than me. So I don't have any sympathy for people who don't work hard. None.
And to go along with what you're saying, and just with the question you initially asked about, even like when does an artist need management per se, and I think Santi kind of touched on it too. For me, independent artists, you have to create value first. And if somebody's going to be managing you, you have to ask yourself, how are they going to be compensated? How are they going to make money for the time they invested? I mean, shout out to Tal. He's one of the guests that we had here. And he said something very interesting about your return on time, your ROT, because a lot of people, ROI, your return on, your investment, but the return on time. For the time that a manager kind of puts in at the end of the day, something that one of our friends had posted, Dre Marshall, and shout out to Dre and shout out to the 30s, that I thought was super interesting. And I told him, I said, Dre, I'm stealing this. I'm reposting this. So it's a post that talks about the long math. Talented managers typically get a fee of roughly 20%. That is the going rate for a manager. They get 20% of what an artist earns. So in Florida, the state of Florida, minimum wage is $11 an hour, or $22,880 a year, right? You would have to make at least $100,000 a year on your talent to pay your manager minimum wage. So if an artist, an independent artist, is not making at least $100,000, they cannot justify having management, because you can't pay them even minimum wage. How are they going to live and feed their families if you have not created the value? So based on how much you can afford to pay management, how much work are you entitled to? So if people say, I need a manager, but you don't have anything, and you feel like your talent is what you bring to the table, your talent has to be making money for you, or create some level of value that your manager can actually make money from the opportunities that are based on your level of talent. If the manager is responsible for helping to develop and curate your talent so that he can create opportunities, he would deserve more than 20% for doing that. So in an equation where the manager becomes relevant in the construct of the record business, the manager's position was between the record label and the artist. It's the middle person that was able to kind of manage an artist. It's like having a business. You have a manager because they're managing the business.
There's something to
so
manage.
if there's no business to manage, it's hard to have a manager.
It's like a sports player. Imagine you don't have any, like if you're an NFL player or you want to be an NFL player and you graduate college, you don't get any offers, but you're asking people to manage you. What the hell are they going to manage?
Right? No, exactly. But that analogy is great. And so I tell artists, this is, well, if I'm an independent artist, then what should I be doing? What should be the thing? And if I don't have a manager, how would I get to the next level? I tell independent artists, your greatest job, because going to the studio and recording is easy, because that's what you would do if you're not making any money, so that's what you would do. You whether you made money or not, you would record a song. You would write a song. It comes naturally to you. You don't have to work as hard to record a record. So that's not the job. That's not the most essential thing, because that you do that with your eyes closed. And you know, a lot of independent artists say, man, I got these hits, man. I promise you, if you work with me, you'll be the richest guy ever. I'll make you millions of dollars, whatever, you know. But I tell an artist that the most essential thing is becoming resourceful. You find the resources to be able to build a team around you that will help you to win. You find the resources to make you valuable. An artist says, if I'm on the phone with an artist, and you've done it a couple of times where you have an artist there and you kind of send them a package and you're basing it on the budget that they have, and they're just like, they want this, this, and that, and then you say, well, this is what it would cost. Because to do this, it only can cost what it costs. We're not charging you because we have to make money, but it costs to market. Mm-hmm. So he says, this is what it costs. And I says, well, right now I don't really have the money, but man, listen, if you give me a chance, why should I give you a chance?
This is your chance.
Because if you're as great as you say you are, if you can't find 10 people that will invest at least $50 in you to be able to start off with $500, you're not as great as you think you are.
I think that's the first test.
Right.
In proving it to yourself, and not just to yourself, everybody else.
Right.
Because we've had clients who've been consistent and worked with us through the system where they have to pay. And they have to pay for everything, right?
Right.
And they've graduated to the point where we kind of, we manage them now.
Right.
So it's like, you want somebody to trust you without proving it, but like, trust is earned. That somebody believing you is earned. You don't, if you see a woman and she looks gorgeous on the first night, like that doesn't make you trust her.
Yeah.
You know
and
what I
it's
mean?
more than just asking you to trust. It's like, it's almost a little bit insulting sometimes if you didn't know any better, because they're asking you to sacrifice. Hey, I just met you. Sacrifice everything, work your butt off, get money, put it into me, and put all of your time into me to earn a fraction of what
And
you
I
are going
won't
to create
invest
for me.
anything.
Correct.
And they won't invest nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess just playing the advocate for the independent artists here, I think in their mindset, they think that their talent is their investment.
Is going to carry them, yeah.
And they feel like...
But why do you think that's the misconception now? Why do you think that
social
is what...
media.
Well,
And the way the industry used to be.
Yes. That to me is more
like when they
essential.
discovered Elvis?
Right. They used to base... 90% of it was talent-based. If you were talented, someone saw you, 3 months down the road, you were known. You were a star.
And the industry's changed so much since then. It's not just based on that. And I know, we've covered that a lot and we've talked about that a lot. And I know artists have come in, they've had investors. You have somebody that has a faith in them, believe that they have the talent, they've been resourceful. They're creating a value that somebody wanted to invest in them, and they've been able to kind of reap the benefits of that and, be able to get to the next level. Mm-hmm. A lot of companies have investors, and that's how they grow, their companies and stuff like that. So when you approach your music career as a business, and you take on that approach, it works a little bit better for you. And so for me, I feel like we've had a lot of decent artists walk through the door, but in terms of results and what they've been able to accomplish, for a lot of them, I think that the investment has made the difference and some people that were greatly talented, but they didn't become resourceful, and some people that were not as talented, but they had the resources, and then they have the results to go with what they're doing. They've been able to get to the next level in their career just based on that alone. And I tell people all the time, give me an artist that definitely has a budget and will listen, and I'll take them we'll take them wherever they want to go, because it's not rocket science.
No,
It's not.
I want to ask both of you another question. Just in our tenure and working here, who would you say, Santi, is probably the most underrated artist you feel that we've ever worked with? That you feel like definitely super talented, but you feel like they didn't get the recognition or they didn't have the resources or whatever, but you felt like, yo, I felt like this person kind of had it, but who would you say?
I mean, there's a few, and totally opinion based. I mean, like Tyshawn Dion, he's one for sure. I would even say Lajan. He's someone that has invested, has seen great success, and then took the foot off the gas. And you see that because it can be discouraging. That you think, okay, I'm putting everything I have into this. You don't really know what it takes until you get there. And maybe you aren't hitting the goals that you imagined, but there's such great progress made. And if you get discouraged in the slightest, you're not going to become what you truly could. And you're going to lose way more just in the lost momentum.
Yeah.
And one thing that I can say is, like, we're a machine. We provide the machine, we're the vessel. And it's really how much you put into the machine to keep it going. Keep putting gas in the tank. And, I mean, once you stop, destination's right there, and you're not going to go any further. I mean, not to the same velocity. But, yeah, I mean, I can say, like, Tyshawn, whenever he jumps on the lives, he absolutely kills it. It can be a new record we've never heard. We always end up coming out like, who the heck is this? And it's 9 times out of 10, it's him. But
I would agree. The first artist, a couple artists came to mind.
Yeah, keep going.
You know,
yeah, there's way more. There's way more.
Like
There's a lot
Shabazz
of
the
talented
Weirdo.
people.
Shabazz the Weirdo is an incredible talent. I would say Lajan, Tyshawn Dion. And the way I would describe it, or an analogy is, imagine you're trying to drive up a hill, right? And at the top of the hill is, the success that you want. But you're driving uphill. It takes a lot more gas to drive uphill.
Yep.
The car fights a lot harder, right? Maybe you don't have a 4-wheel drive car, right? Maybe you only have a limited gas money, but a lot of artists, they stop 10 feet from gold, like in the book that we're reading, that we've read several times, Think and Grow Rich. They stop. And then what happens when you stop? You start to roll back downhill. You know what I mean? And shouts out to Monty and Santi because, I'm an independent artist. I don't invest as much as I do into my music, but I practice what I preach, and I've been leaving evidence right there in front of you guys the whole time that, like, if what I was doing was my music, I would be giving it the same effort, but I'm obviously I'm selling a different product. I'm not selling you music, I'm selling you a way to make your music successful.
Right.
And the times that I felt like stopping, right before, right, you guys always encourage me, like, Dave, keep going, like, and then I always remembered, like, love the grind more than the results. So a lot of artists, because they're not tangibly making money, I feel like they don't feel like they're successful, but it's like, you don't know how many people you've inspired along the way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you would be surprised at how many people tell me, like, yo, I want to be just like Lajan, like, oh my God, and like, and Tyshawn Dion, and how much.
Let's say Young Boss Lajan.
Young Boss Lajan, yes.
That's really the name, and I know people get confused when we say Lajan because there's another artist that's known by that name, so make sure.
So Young Boss Lajan, for example, so many people are inspired by what he has going on, but in his head or in other artists' head, they feel like, oh, I'm not making money. But if you're really an artist, it's your job to just reflect the times through your perspective. That's really your job, right? And if you can effectively do that, you might have 1 to 2 people that look up to you that are completely in awe when they see you, right? Like, you as up and coming artists, like, you didn't you weren't making a lot of money at the beginning, but how many people were like starstruck when they saw you?
Yeah.
Early coming up, right? Starstruck, like, oh my God, it's Monty G. Like,
And that's really what it takes. Like the term starving artist is a thing. Like you have to let your ribs touch a little bit. We've said it countless times before you you have to sacrifice. It takes a lot of sacrifice.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go in a totally different direction. So there's artists that I think are clear, talent wise, that we've worked with. That's like you look at them, you hear them, you see them, you already know what they are. That have come through these doors that we've worked with. I know just off the top of it, Fee and Macy become like, they're there. Yeah, and I feel like Tyshawn Dion is one of those kind of like special talents. And Kanan, I know a lot of people don't heard a lot from him, but Kanan is definitely one of those people. Yeah. I don't like to put Najee in that box because he's done so much, and I think people know just like on a talent perspective and somebody that's been consistent is there. Especially from the Bahamas, he's someone that's known. But Bruno Marley is another person that's been here as we've worked with. That's like super talented. I know he's been known a little bit. He's had some success. He's had records with known artists and stuff like that. So I'm talking like aside from those people that I feel like haven't really gotten the credit, but they're really like dope artists, like a dope artist, and just based on either circumstance. And different things that they've not really gotten like Just Do, but I feel like definitely I think Bonesy the Kid is one of those artists that I think is like very underrated, and I feel like if he did have the budget and whatnot, and I know they're pressing to do what they're doing. Shout out to Bonesy JB. I think that he's like one of those talents that could really be recognized.
And he's always down for the grind, like you said. He loves it.
Right, that's consistent, like in working. Finale is also an artist that I think is extremely talented. Thinks out of the box. Is very talented. Somebody is really grinding. The people that they love music, they've put out music, have not gotten really to Just Do, but they're really great. And I'm gonna call a name in. I know some of you may be a little bit surprised, but I want to say Behind the Frames, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think that the Quinn, just from meeting him day one, from where he's been, the determination that he's had and the confidence that he's had, and I know that some people they don't rate him as much as I think that he deserves to be rated because of his background. They just think, oh, he's a rich white kid or something like that. And I know you've seen it. And I always tell people, when it comes to rap and hip hop, I don't know if I've seen somebody that you put him up against anybody in terms of the knowledge he has in hip hop and rap. And because people don't know him, he is a student of the game.
He knows scholar.
He knows so much about rap music, and I would sit him down with anybody. And as a rapper, and I know a lot of people don't understand him, but he's one of the most underrated, talented kids I've been around. I know a lot of people look, he's just this, he's just really, he has money and this and stuff like that. But if you take away all of that, in terms of like bar for bar talent or whatever the case may be, and like grind, if you took away from it, he's definitely, I think, one of talented. And that's aside from people like Lajon and those Young Bucks Lajon and those other ones that are just generally talented. There's some of the people that we've worked with, and Quinn has had great success. Behind the Frames, he's had great success from where he started from to where he is now. Because he's been consistent, and regardless of what he does, he's kept moving and kept going with it. And so that's some of the people. There's a ton of other people that we've worked with that I feel like has that extra level talent. At the end of the day, some of them have been inconsistent, and some of them have continued to find a way to stay relevant, to keep going with it or whatever. I just want to talk like on the gospel side of things. You have people like Candace Caton that everyone that's heard them think they're amazing. You have people like Nisa that people have heard and think like, yo, how are these people not like,
voices of angels.
Yeah, and they're continuing to grow. You even have D. Flavany I mean, he has 10 million views on the Make Him Say A video, and these are people
That's
that I've known
unheard of.
right from back then. And so you have a lot of people that garner a certain level of success, but to push to that next level, it takes thinking a little bit out of the box. It takes believing in yourself a little bit more to become a little bit more resourceful.
Yeah.
To kind of get to that next level. And there's a ton of people I could think of, and I don't want to leave anybody out. But I'm just saying, like, continue to believe in yourself, continue to push, continue to not take no for an answer. You understand what I'm saying? And the investment is just important as the grind. You understand what I'm saying?
You know, something else. A lot of artists, like, I don't think they would ever say that they stop pushing, they stop working. I think misconception and misinformation that they're working in the wrong areas, and they consider that to be work. They consider that to be them being consistent. And us saying, like, there's been fluxes or fluctuations in their consistency in the areas that we know will help them.
Yeah.
A lot of artists will say, oh, I'm working. Cool, what did you do? Oh, I was in the studio all week. Cool. That's not really the work you should be doing. That's not the work that's going to help you. Maybe that's like 20% of it. The rest of it needs to be in marketing.
10. I would say 10.
Yeah.
The analogy I always tell people is this. Imagine, Monty or Santi, that you are a fantastic cook. The best cook ever. Everyone that tasted your food said, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yep.
Everybody comes to your house for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and they know you're going to throw down, right? So you decided, you know what? I'm going to start a restaurant, right? But, you live in a small town, right? Like every artist says, oh, I live in a small town. Everybody hates on me, right? So imagine you live in a small town, right? And, there's not a lot of property available. So you end up buying a location that's not on a main street that really no one knows is there, right? But that's where your restaurant is. And you make the best food in the world. So, you think, oh, I'm working so hard. I'm coming up with new recipes. And you just keep cooking and you have like one customer. And you just keep cooking, and you just keep putting plates for that one customer. And it's like, at what point do you realize that that's a waste of money? Like, you need to go out there and you need to advertise this business so people know that in the cut, over here in the small town, in this little corner of this complex, there is the best restaurant on the planet. The work that needs to be put in is, okay, I perfected my recipe, right? I have undeniable taste. So it's like, okay, I don't need to perfect this recipe anymore. I need to make sure that this recipe is known by the whole world, right? Somebody that comes to mind is Bryson Tiller, right? You remember that song, Don't?
Yeah.
People don't know he pushed that song for, I think, 2 to 3 years. Consistently, 2 to 3 years. He just pushed that one song. That's it. And that's what blew him up and got him a record. It didn't blow him up because he put it out. It blew him up because he pushed it for 3 freaking years. He kept pushing that record because he knew that every time someone tasted this record or tasted the food or heard the record, he got the same reaction. So it's being consistent, and okay, I once you perfect your craft, once you perfect your sound, and you're confident with what you have, and you're getting good reaction, you're getting good feedback. Everybody's like, oh, I'm getting great feedback. This song's a hit. Well, okay, well, what are you gonna do about it?
Right.
What are you gonna do?
I think that's where we come in, because we can't expect the artist. They're good at what they do. They're the artists. They're supposed to be creative. Find people, like you said, be resourceful. Put a team around you that can give you the structure, put a plan together, and roll it out and execute. You focus on being creative. You find your budget. You put it together. You need to have a team to help you be consistent in the right areas. And I mean, that's really what our business is based off of now. So like when people fall off a little bit and feel like they're working but they're not getting the same results, it's just they're not being consistent in the right areas. Kind of like when you have like a weight loss goal, and you have your diet plan, you have your gym plan, whatever. I'm gonna go on vacation. You eat. Oh, but I was working out the whole time. Yeah, but you weren't focusing on your diet. So what do you expect?
Yeah.
Well, I want to say this before it slips me. You saw me going through my phone while you were talking. There was someone else that I was trying to remember when it comes to like a pure talent. I was trying to remember this guy that we worked with, and I just saw like this guy named Forever Boy.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And I want to say that he's definitely one of the best talents I think that's come through here, and I feel like can make it 100% just on
a lot of boxes.
Yeah, just pure talent aspect as a songwriter. Look, vibe, everything. And I know his team has been working or whatever, but I just feel like in an underrated fashion, like that guy just forever boy. If you ever want to look him up, he's amazing. And then there's two people I want to mention just outside of the box that tick those boxes in terms of like grind and work at it and do whatever it takes to believe in their self and their dream and can keep going. Jatan Love is one of those persons. Her team, and a shout out to Richard and their team there. Jatan Love, the effort that she puts into her work, and not just in terms of thinking that pure talent will get it there because she is talented, but in terms of finding the resources and putting forth the work ethic. Yeah, and I want to say that the next person that I wanted to mention also, inspirational story also is Joan Capone. And
Miss Joan.
yeah, she's somebody that in the later portion of her life, she wanted to do music earlier in her career, in her life, but her career path, she changed it, and after people would say that, well, her time has passed for music, she decided that she wanted to go with her dream again. She picked it up, got serious about it, invested her time and her effort. I mean, she's working, and she's actually, put the investment in, she's put the time and effort in, and she's getting results. I mean, she's starting to, travel, do events, and doing features with known artists and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm very impressed at what she's been able to do. And I think that, some of the people that I mentioned are just a little bit just to show that at the end of the day, they didn't leave it to the fact that, I think I'm so talented, I'm just gonna, you know what I mean? They became resourceful, they found a way, and then they found the people that could help them to get to where they want to go, and now they're starting to move forward in their dreams, in their careers, and I just think that is one of the most amazing things, to live your dream at your own pace, and two, to actually start to see that believing in yourself can pay off. And being a part of that, our team here, being a part of those people that believe in themselves and not just coming looking for a handout and expecting us to, hey, just come work with me and y'all become a star because I'm so great and I'm so talented. Those people are kind of like, listen, we'll double down. I'm going to double down on I think that I have it, but I need the help, and I'm going to bring the resource and the investment. You guys have the know-how, and I want to get there, and I'm willing to listen and work. And I just think that our system works well with that. And I think that you've advocated that, at all of the scrutiny and criticism that you've gotten for telling artists that, listen, no, that's not it.
You saw me on my phone. I was responding to an artist that said, they said, hey, Dave, I need your help. I said, what's up, man? What do you need help with? And they said, finding a deal. So I'm like, okay, let me look at his page. He has 1,000 followers. And screen recordings of his music playing from his notes. And I responded, I'm like, that's impossible. It's not going to happen. Like,
not from where the point he is right now.
No, not right now. Because think about it like this. If an artist was in a position to sign a record deal, would you hurry up and broker that deal so we can make a quick couple $100,000? I mean, you would jump at the opportunity, right?
Yeah,
like, if they were ready for that. So artists come to us and they're like, yo, I'm ready for a deal. We'd have to actually be stupid to not get you a record deal if we had the connections to do it, if you were in that position. Like, why would we not do it? Why would we not get you the record deal that you're looking for? Obviously, you DMing everybody in the world, sign me, isn't working. Maybe you don't have what it takes yet. You know what I mean? It's like the way I see it is like, imagine if you were like playing like middle school basketball and you hit up like the Mavericks, like, yo, sign me.
Exactly.
Like, no, you have to go to high school, then you have to go to college. Was LeBron James the last person to ever go straight out of high school? Or one of the last few? Like,
one of the last
few. Like, you can't even go straight to the NBA without playing college or overseas basketball, right?
Yeah.
So as an independent artist, like, we have the connections to walk you into any major label. You guys can attest to that. We could walk into any major label. We don't have to deal with A&Rs. Even though I'm an A&R, like, for what we do, you guys don't deal with A&Rs. And there's this misconception that an A&R is like gold. Like, that's who you need to go to. And, like, An A&R for a record label is more like what?
A scout. It's just a talent scout.
And an A&R does not get paid to think and figure things out. If something's presented the right way and it makes sense,
who do they have to present it to?
Executive.
An executive.
Yeah.
So everybody's looking to get to the A&R, but it's like, no, you need to get to the executive. And we
not
have
discrediting A&Rs, by the way. Just
no, not to discredit the A&Rs, but the A&R can't really. Can they make decisions? No, they can't make any decisions, right? So you have to be able to get to the executives, right? Mm-hmm. We can get you to the executive. Why would we not get you direct to the executive? Why would we not do that?
Yeah,
that's, you know what I mean? So artists have to think about that. Like, why would we not do that? And the reason we won't do it is because we can't. You know what I mean? Like, we can't bring you to the plug if you don't have any money to spend.
100%.
Like, the plug will kill you. Like, you'll die. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, we can't mess up our face to give you an opportunity that you're not prepared for. Like I said at the beginning, luck is being prepared for an opportunity. So if an artist that's already freaking a rock star hits us up and say, hey man, can you help me broker a deal? That's a whole different conversation than the guy that just hit me up with 1,000 followers and screen recordings of his music at low quality with less than 50 likes.
Mm. What I want to ask the both of you, if you had 20 seconds to give an artist something essential that you think can help them from the point of just as an independent artist to kind of like getting closer to their goals and their dreams, what would you say 20 to 30 seconds essentially they should be doing?
Find the people that can get you there. Close your mouth, open your ears, be coachable, and invest in yourself. Even if it's a couple dollars, it doesn't have to be huge.
Right.
Invest in yourself the right way, the proper way. Trust the people around you. And just give it a try. So just give it a try and see if that yields greater results than what you have been doing for however many years.
100%. What would you say, Dave?
20 seconds. Understand that you are a business. Understand the business. Yeah. Research what it takes to run a business. Understand that you're the CEO of your business, right? My grandma's a phenomenal cook, but she doesn't have a restaurant. You could be the best artist in the world, but if you don't understand business, you will never have a successful business, right? Or if you do, and by the grace of God, you blow up, you know, because God decided to just, because you don't understand the business, somebody that does is going to take advantage of you. And you're going to lose in the long run. I seen an interview with YG where he was like, I haven't made any money from my music because he got out of jail and signed a deal right away and had no understanding of the business. And someone took advantage of him. And that's why you see these artists say, I haven't made any money. It's because they didn't understand the business when they should have at the beginning because they thought, I'm talented. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you're talented, hard work beats talent. Dope boy meets Khaled. Don Perry eats salad, walk around with feet balanced. That's one of my favorite verses from 2 Chainz. He said, hard work beat talent. Like, the first time I heard 2 Chainz, I'm like, bro, this guy sucks. Like, I heard him, I'm like, and then the more I got to understand him, he made it simple. It's not that he sucked, he was just so simple, and he believed in the grind and the hard work. Hard work beats talent. Mm-hmm. Hard work beats talent. Master P, another example. He's not the greatest lyricist, is he? No. In terms of lyricist. People that were coming up around the same time as him in terms of rappers, like Scarface, for example. Scarface is like top 5 of all time. Like arguably top 5, right?
No, I like Scarface. Yeah.
He, in terms of lyricism. But if you look at the 2 careers, who has a more successful career?
Master P.
Master P. And he was nowhere near in terms of talent per se or lyricism as Scarface. But who understood the business better?
Master P.
Master P.
More marketable. Your talent can get you the deal that you, the allure of the deal, but what kind of deal is it going to be?
Well, I think that's both of you gave some great advice.
What about you?
Yeah, what I would tell artists, I would tell every artist that's an independent artist, my advice to you in 20 seconds would be come to Royalty and Respect, and we'll definitely give you what you need to get to the next level in your career. And so I think you guys really, put it all together in a nutshell. It's not a lot
when I said find the people that's us.
We're the ones.
That's what we do.
We do it.
And that's great. So guess what? Our time is about, almost up here. And I want to thank you guys for, coming on the journey with us for another episode, and it's growing and the following is growing, and we really appreciate you guys. I know there was something that we talked about in the office here that I said I will address on here. It would take me about 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes, and kind of address it because it's relevant. Billboard just released their top 50 rappers of all time, and I know we kind of had some different views on it. I'd like in the comment section to see what people think. I've listened to hip hop and rap all my life. I'm definitely a fan. I know you have. I know Santi has, and we have a couple different perspectives. What would you change in the top 10? I'm gonna list it right here pretty quickly. Jay-Z's number 1. Kendrick Lamar's number 2.
Number 1.
Yeah, Nas is
that
number
right
3.
there. End episode. Bye.
Bye.
Tupac Shakur is number 4. Eminem's number 5. Notorious Big is number 6. 7 is Lil Wayne. Drake number 8. Snoop Dogg number 9. Nicki Minaj is number 10.
They were close.
What would you change in that top 10?
Well, my top 5: Andre 3000, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, and this is no particular order. Eminem in terms of skill, and then Kendrick Lamar. But I would also put Cole in there too. But
J. Cole is at number 15.
Yeah, but Kendrick is number 2.
I mean, if we're gonna look at it like this, I would say Kendrick Lamar is number 1. But he wouldn't be number 1 if he didn't have the people before him to pave the way for him and to give him that.
Kendrick Lamar could never be number 1.
No,
he's a very great rapper, but he can never
because
be number 1.
because he's like 3rd or 2nd generation rap. So it's like you can't put him.
It's not even because of that.
Why?
He's a very talented rapper, but there's no way he's number 2 all time. Never.
Hey, I'll put Kodak top 5. Kodak Black top 5.
Most people from
Pompano,
from Broward would put
Broward County. You gotta be
I know.
from Pompano.
Listen,
If you don't know, you don't know,
listen,
bro.
but I know the majority of people from Miami would put Trick in the top 10. Put
Hell
Trick
no.
In the top 10. No, yes, it is.
Trick is the.
We've had discussions with this
Yes, we
before,
have.
and the majority of people, when you look at the body of work, and most people from South Florida would attest that they feel like Trick Daddy belongs in the top 10. And I can't say that
Top 10 maybe.
I can't say that I would argue with them based on there's a lot of people that don't know the culture and know what he's done. And when you look at it from this perspective, I understand it. But in an overall way, my changes to the list, I think we all know the body of work. Jay-Z is definitely worthy of being in top 10. If you want to put him in top 5, nobody's going to hate you. I would not put Jay top 1. No. I would not put him as the top.
It's probably based off his business.
Yeah, like if you put all of
But
this
that's
stuff in
different.
perspective.
It's pop culture.
Because if
overall.
you want to put it, I feel like Nas to me is a better rapper than Jay-Z, so I would
100%.
put him out there. For me, if you want to look at like total overall, I would put Eminem as number 1, and I wouldn't put him there just culturally. All that Biggie has done, he did it in 2 albums.
Yeah.
And Tupac has been great generationally, and everything he's done. He's an amazing rapper, classics, songs, everything, impact, all that stuff like that. But Tupac has like 5 million records.
Right.
And
it's kind of like LeBron versus Jordan.
Yes.
To clarify, Biggie is Jordan.
Right, Biggie would have done it in a shorter period of time, and his greatness has exceeded, the
But
time
I think the
frame.
fact that he died made it that much more bigger.
If you listen to Biggie's music, you could say that if it was somebody like Nipsey Hussle, but it's not. If you listen to Biggie's body of work, it kills anything that you can hear. The things that he did, the flows. If Biggie rapped
He was
the way
ahead
that
of
he
his
rapped
time.
then today,
Yeah.
it would still be. He would still be
was
what
ahead
it
of his
is.
time.
I'm gonna say this: just people like Rakim. People like Kanye West. Kanye West should be in the top 10 definitely for sure, because if you looked at a versus, the only person I think can really go toe to toe with Jay-Z in a versus is Kanye West, and I think that can actually beat him. Lil Wayne for me, I'm not on the Lil Wayne bandwagon, but in terms of as a lyricist, he does belong. He's
5.
number 7, but Lil Wayne I won't argue with you if he's top 5. Because in terms of what he did in his time for this generation, and and I'm gonna go
Wait,
out.
look, what's this? A double cup.
Yeah.
I got coffee in a double cup.
I'm gonna say this.
But
It's true to the culture.
I'm gonna say this: Missy Elliott should be ahead of Nicki Minaj.
I 100% agree.
And Nicki Minaj is definitely a great rapper. But I think when you put these females in the list, and I think there are only 2 here, I would put Missy Elliott above her. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say something. And I know this is not gonna be popular. Top 20 rappers of all time. There's somebody that is very underrated because I think of what they did for rap. And I know it's not popular, but Soulja Boy definitely.
Oh my
No,
God.
listen to me. No. Listen to what I'm saying. Soulja Boy.
No.
Listen to me.
No.
You don't have a lot of rappers. You don't have Migos. You don't have a lot of people if it's not for Soulja Boy. And I know people are gonna say, "Oh, this and that, whatever." But I'm telling you, what he did for the generation that came behind Lil Wayne, almost all of the rappers that became popular after that time frame,
It's because of him.
Soulja Boy changed rap again.
He's a
And a lot of
catalyst.
people didn't really give him the credit because of Superman, whatever the case may be. But even like the dance craze and phase that came up, like Soulja Boy influentially.
Yeah, they don't want to give him the credit for that. He always says he's the first one that did
But
this.
then we're looking at it objectively and subjectively. Like, are we looking at it in terms of the business and the impact? Or are we looking at it from like bars, lyricism, talent?
I'm just talking about a kid that actually changed the complex of rap music from his computer.
Hard work.
And in
beats
terms
talent.
of the way, listen, the way the record labels even searched for talent and what could be something. Soulja Boy changed all of that. He used MySpace and changed the whole. And I'm not like a Soulja Boy fan per se, but I feel like you just give credit where credit is due. And I mean, I think 50 Cent at the end of the day was the first version of Drake in terms of what he did to the rap game. Not as long as maybe as Drake had it, but when 50 Cent came, he definitely, like, it was just 50 Cent. And he did it without partnering with a bunch of features. Of course, they had Eminem and Dr. Dre, but I'm talking about, there was Ludacris that was hot back then. There was Ja Rule. There was a lot of other people that were really hot. 50 Cent really did this and built G Unit, just being enemies with everybody. And no other rapper, if Drake was the enemy of all the other rappers he collaborated with in his ascension, he would never be where he is to this day. 50 Cent did it being the enemy of the state.
Yeah.
And I think like that in itself is great. But I think with the top 10, you can kind of move the pieces around. There's some people I feel like don't belong there. And I would put Missy Elliott ahead of Nicki Minaj for sure. And I think Eminem moves up for me, top 3, whatever. Biggie definitely top 3, whatever. And Rakim would be in my top 10 for sure. But
Yeah, Rakim.
I feel like Lil Wayne could be top 5. Regardless, he's number 7. I think that he could definitely be top 5. I think Nas is a better rapper than Jay-Z. I mean, kill me if you want to.
Nah, I'm with you.
I think Andre 3000 is better than both.
Yeah, he's your favorite.
Yeah.
Andre 3000 could be in the top 10.
Yeah.
If he's better than Jay-Z.
Then we have to say Outkast because there's no Andre without Big Boy.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would bump Nas up, switching with Jay-Z.
Definitely.
I would knock Nicki off, bump up Eminem.
My dad would be so mad at you, bro. My dad loves Nicki Minaj. She thinks she's like the best ever. Like,
Well,
I'll call your dad and we'll talk.
wait, he didn't give us top 5. Who's your top 5?
Top 5?
Top 5.
I would say,
Not even looking at this. Just
no particular order. I would say Nas, Rakim for sure. I would put Jay-Z. And if we're talking particular order, right
because
at
you're
the
from
bottom.
New York.
From New York, I just think he has great records. I would put Eminem for sure, and then
wait a minute. There's
I'll
somebody I don't think-
put Biggie. Biggie would be on my top.
Hey, wait a minute. Busta Rhymes is not on this list at all. And I think that's an injustice.
That is an injustice.
If you Big Daddy Kane, Busta Rhymes definitely is there. I think even LL.
Yeah,
There's a couple dudes that LL beats. That Busta Rhymes beats on this list for sure. And I think
They spelled Rakim's name wrong.
but
yeah.
I definitely
But
feel like
who
Busta
I would
Rhymes.
put in my top 20, David Mullins. Lil Dave.
Lil
Dave.
So
Hey.
listen, man. I know you guys enjoyed this session. That was a little bonus at the end. I know I said we would put it in. We had this discussion in the office. You guys can talk about it in the comments. So thank you guys for tuning in. Our time is gone now, and we thank you guys. Any questions, you DM us, you hit us up online, Instagram. You know how to follow us by now. You know what I'm saying? And so wherever you guys, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. On
Respect
my royalty.